Hey, we're back. It's the ANZ Pro League. We're in the ace match of Downfall, let me say it properly, versus SYF. And it seems like we're both terrible at predictions. Death, who's this ace match going to be?
Well, for Downfall Gaming, it's Blysk, and I don't think that's a surprise to anyone, but I was quite surprised to see that it's Crimson for SYF. And I think that both of us were on the same page when we were talking about Mighty Kiwi. I didn't think that the Terran players would be overly confident, but they put out Crimson. He's got his first ace match of the tournament, and I can't wait to see what he's got prepared. Because like you were saying in the break, maybe he is the Blysk Sniperoonie.
Yeah, maybe that's the deal, right? I sort of wonder if they're like mind gaming each other as well, and they're like, who would SYF put out as their ace? Surely, maybe it would be Mighty Kiwi or Seether. And then if they prepared for those guys, it'd be like, LOL, JK, it's actually Crimson, now what? Plot twist. So,
True.
Yeah, I think this is an awesome choice, and I mean, Crimson is strong as hell, so I have a lot of faith in him for this final match. We're in black-pink, folks, and in the top right, he's in the green, representing Downfall. It's Blysk.
And over here in the bottom left, in the red, playing for Team SYF Gaming, can he lead his team to a victory? It's Crimson.
Well spotted. Actually, I don't know. I don't know who's gonna win. I know I went with the 3-2 SYF win prediction, but now I'm questioning everything I know.
I'm questioning the very nature of my existence. Crimson, he'd want to be winning it for his team. I feel like if he's willing to be put out as the ace player, he is confident. And on the flip side for Blysk, when you have something like this happen, there's always that doubt in the back of your mind. Maybe that is a little bit psychological for him. Maybe that plays into his nerves slightly. But we'll have to see. And Crimson going for a really stock standard opening here, going for that hatch first and following up with the pool and gas.
That's it. Yeah, you gotta wonder what's going on in Blysk's mind, what his plan would be for a PVZ of this nature. Obviously he's got a lot of tricks up his sleeve as well, so I think he'll do well no matter what, but I think if there's one advantage I could give to Crimson maybe, or some plays in general, I've noticed in the past that Blysk comes into the game with a plan, and if his opponent messes up that plan by doing some sort of timing he didn't account for or something a little cheeky, it sometimes looks like it tilts him and he sort of gets a little flustered and doesn't execute quite as planned. So that could be one point in Crimson's favor if he has something very specific in mind. But I'm not sure if that's the case anymore. Like we mentioned, Blysk has just come back after a long time, and often a break helps you fix a lot of the problems that you previously might have had.
Yeah, fresh set of eyes, so to speak. You get to look at the game in a different way and come up with different strategies. We've also got completely different design for the race, so that might change things as well. But you do raise a very valid point, Zeph, because what you said really hit the nail on the head. And in the past, you know, if Blysk didn't get his chicken tendies, he was throwing a tantrum and out of the game, like, stat.
Oh, I love the way you put that. Yeah, that's true. So he's hoping that doesn't happen to Blysk in this game.
Let's hope he gets his chicken tendies.
He better get those chicken tendies with sauce as well. And
what sort of sauce do you put on your tendies?
I'm a barbecue sauce person, actually.
Barbecue? Alright.
Do you have a sauce preference?
I feel like a decent like peri-peri mayo or like something like that's really nice.
Bit of spice.
Yeah, spice of life.
Always good.
Might be able to pick up this Overlord. Couple more shots. Oh, I think.
Can he do it?
Crimson.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that's going there.
Good job.
But Crimson does have Overlord speed just about to finish. You'll be able to get back into Blysk's base and keep track of what's going on. And what's going on, Zeph, is robotics and blink. We'll be seeing a fair amount of stalkers.
Yes, indeed. Blysk I feel like Blink Stalkers are like old faithful for him. He does so well with them. He's been playing them since forever, through all phases of Blink being good and not so good. So definitely a strong playstyle for him to rock and roll with. Crimson is now unsupply blocked after losing that Overlord, which is good. Back onto that macro train. Lair about halfway done, and there we go. He does get that bit of scouting information in Blysk base.
Yep, so he sees the Twilight Council, he'll see the fact that it's researching and supply blocks himself once again. Will need to go and build a couple of Overlords, so that was a miscalculation for him. He'll be kicking himself a little bit. Lair's finishing up, the Baneling Nest is halfway done, and he's looking pretty good on 3 bases. He's got a lot of options, and it looks like Blysk adding on 4 gateways. He's going to be going for a very heavy 2-base timing.
Oh baby, a triple. We've got that Warp Prism just finishing up there. He has his oh, actually Crimson sees that Warp Prism leaving, so
yeah,
already like 20 lings are on the way. The Hydrogen's not far off finishing.
He's not going to stuff around.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a rough timing in the sense that his Hydras are going to start making just as this Warp Prism arrives, but he will have them available nonetheless. These units trying to make it across the map, but Crimson's looking to put an end to that.
Yeah, but he does lose a lot of lings, only really gets the shields off that sentry, but he does slow down the Protoss advance. And some of those Hydras are already about halfway to completion, and picks off a sentry, might be able to pick up a couple more. Fantastic moves from Crimson as he cleans up so many force fields, so many potential force fields from that army. Means that these follow-up Hydras will be able to do so much more in the defense.
Exactly, and it's going to be harder for Blysk to sort of build himself a nicer choke through which to take out these Zerg units. Now, almost all the lings that he had on the field did go down trying to take out those units. It was well worth it. But now Blysk does have a little bit more on the field right now. He's moving up towards this 3rd base. Can he get some good trades here as he begins the first part of his attack?
Oh my god, these Hydras are doing so much work, but the Sentry with that Guardian Shield really keeping these Stalkers alive. The Blinks have been good so far from Blysk, but it does look like he might be going a little bit too far forward, Zeph. I'm not sure. He is sniping out at some of those Hydras, doing a decent trade. Some drones have been pulled off of the line, and Blysk now has to dart back a little bit. No 3rd base from him, and Crimson, he's frantically trying to get those units up on the ground. A couple more of those Hydras will be popping out here, but he just needs to hold on and stay alive for his team.
Yeah, it's a little rough. Stalkers are deceptively strong. With the targeting down on the Hydras, it definitely helps these Stalkers live much longer. The Queens are helping out a bit here as well. One does fall on the front lines there. And these Lings are doing an okay job at buffering, but there's just actually not that many. He's actually starting to get some Stalkers down now with this Hydra attack straight up. Is he able to clean it up? He's going for the Warp Prism.
Gets the Warp Prism, and the Stalkers are all falling. And a few of them should be able to escape and retreat, but no 3rd base was produced by Blysk during that. He kind of went all in, Zeph, and he played really, really well, but I think in that fight, too many of the Stalker shots were wasted on the Queens instead of focusing down those Hydras. I think that was all down to Micro, and if Blysk had the same units but just focused down those Hydras, he would have won that fight and potentially got the game right there.
It did look pretty scary for Crimson there when he couldn't really build up those Hydra numbers, and Blysk now cornered back into his own natural base, and Crimson's pushing the issue. He's still rallying some units across the map, droning a little bit behind this as well, knowing that it can be a tad difficult to get into that Protoss base, and that he probably has enough regardless to be a bit of a pain in
he's doing it, Zeph. The risk is paid off, and Crimson, he's crashing forward. He's taking out all of the probes, and Blysk is plummeting in supply.
Oh, so many probes going down. I didn't think he'd actually be able to push this far in, but the damage is incredible. 21 workers have gone down already, and while Blysk will clean this up, he is left in tatters here. 33 probes. As you mentioned, no 3rd base. And no upgrades on those units either. Meanwhile, Crimson, he's teching up.
Oh man, if this was a ladder game, I feel like Blysk would have left by now, but he's going to stay in and try and make something happen for his team. The Spire is thrown down from Crimson. He's up 35 supplies F. He's got a lot of units. He's got decent saturation, 53 workers. And now where does Blysk go from here? I think his main is going to be mining out pretty soon. A couple of the mineral patches are already gone.
Ooh.
Blysk needs to find a fantastic fight very quickly with the Colossus, or make a third base, really like bunker down and just defend for his life. It's going to take something miraculous for him to come back from here, though. But I mean, if anyone can, I think Blysk has a decent shot at doing it.
Yeah, absolutely. He's a guy with a really patient play style when he needs to have that on his side. The numbers are speaking volumes here. I mean, the supply difference is pretty crazy. The number of bases is going to be pretty crazy in a second when Crimson has that fourth base up and running. The upgrades are going to be better for Crimson. So it is, not to be too doom and gloom, but it's hard to see a way for Blysk back into this game. Now, Colossi are going to be a nice addition to this army, but 7 Corruptors are on the way for Crimson.
Yeah, the Corruptors will be really nice. +1 will be finishing up reasonably soon, and then Hive, I think, will be the next tech of choice from Crimson. And so even if we do go for another few minutes, when the Hive comes out and the Vipers come out on the field, that will mean that the Colossus kind of become redundant, because you can just abduct them into your Hydras and just kill them so quickly. But we'll see what happens. Crimson looks like he wants to position. He doesn't want potentially Blysk to get back into it, but he doesn't want to throw away his units either. The Corruptors, he will lose 1 or 2. Blysk trading reasonably well so far.
Yeah, just warping in a few more units for the front lines here, taking some shots on those Hydras already. Crimson looking for the position that he wants. He comes in with the Lings and gets us around on those gateway units, targeting down those Colossi with the Corruptors. The Hydra's doing a lot of fire behind this, and Blysk is actually doing a pretty great job on the ground army, but he's running out of steam at the last moment.
And a run by into the natural at the same time. And Blysk is now having to fight in 2 different places at once. The Stalkers are trying to blink, but now they'll be surrounded by the Zergling as well. The Hydras are there. They've been doing such a great job for Crimson in this game. And now Blysk knows it's over. GG, well played. And Crimson takes it for his team, and SYF will most likely be in the grand final.
Absolutely, that's got to feel really good for SYF, taking it with a 3-2, still undefeated overall in their matches, which is pretty awesome for these guys. And I don't think we can be surprised either. They've been a team for a long time, one of the oldest teams in the region at this point. Really strong lineup, great choice for their ace match here to seal the deal. And yeah, I mean, well fought by Downfall, but SYF managing to close it out there.
Yeah, they really took it all the way to the end. They managed to force SYF into a ace match. Blysk had a reasonable shot going into it, but Crimson just had that extra little bit of class, extra little bit of skill. Blysk made some micro mistakes against those queens, like I said, with the Stalkers. So just a few little mistakes can mean such a big difference in the results. It's not all over for Downfall, though. They'll be in the middle of the pack and fighting probably against teams like Legacy Esports for that next place in the grand final. But well done. Hats off to SYF, who have just been so dominant throughout this first season of ANZ Pro League.
Yeah, they've got to be happy with that performance. And they have one more match coming up next week against 1F Pro. And if they're able to win that one, I mean, like, they're definitely in the finals. They'll be undefeated completely in this team league so far. But our next match that will be broadcast on this stream is going to be Legacy vs Downfall, and that I'm actually really looking forward to that one. I think that's going to be a great match. I
think if Downfall beats Legacy, I mean, I could be wrong. My math could be horrendously wrong, and I'm doing this on stream. But I think if Downfall beats Legacy on Tuesday night, it's Downfall versus SYF in the grand finals, no matter what else happens. And the other matches will just be played for points.
Yeah,
so that's going to be
so.
a huge one to watch.
Yeah, that prize pool, guys, the 3,500 US, does trickle all the way down to 5th place, and we have 5 teams playing in that round robin, so every match does matter because it's money. So despite a couple of teams looking pretty rough shape for getting into those grand finals, it's not like they're playing these matches for no reason at this point. It's definitely still some stuff on the line for these guys. So Legacy vs Downfall on Tuesday. followed by 1F Pro and SYF on Wednesday, most likely, and then Thursday, 1F Pro versus OSC Elite, and those will be our final matches in the round robin phase before we hit that grand finals on the 19th of December.
I think one of my favorite things about next week for play is going to be the fact that each of those nights, each of those 3 matches, so Downfall versus Legacy, 1F Pro versus SYF, and 1F Pro versus OSC Elite, the first map is going to be Battle on the Boardwalk, which is going to make things crazy. And upsets could happen. Like, anything could happen next week, and I'm so excited to bring that to you. And I'm really excited to be casting that with you as well, Zeph.
Yeah, I'm so stoked about that. It's going to be a really fun map pool to watch with a crazy starting map. So guys, make sure you don't miss it. It's going to be on at 7 p.m. AEDT. There may be a change in the middle of the week, but we'll keep you updated on the social medias if that is indeed the case. But otherwise, we will see you then. Big thank you to Blizzard and Gamester for putting on this show. Any final shout outs from you, Death?
Well, you just said it. Thank you, Blizzard. Thank you, GameStar, for putting on the show and for making this all happen. I suppose one final shout out will be for the VODs that are available for this tournament as well. So if you do miss any of the action, you have everything available to you here on Twitch, but also over at YouTube. It's bit.ly/watchanzpl. So that's the link. I'm sure we'll be able to show that on stream for you. There we go. And make sure you go and check that out. Share everything with your friends. Thank you all for tuning in, and thank you for everyone that's made chat and the social media experience so incredibly entertaining.
Thank you so much for watching, guys. Make sure to join us next Tuesday for the next round of matches and watch that Twitter feed for any other updates on the ANZ Pro League. It's been great, and we'll see you next week.